Only a few crimes could be more terrifying and brutal than what the Manson family did to innocent lives in their active years. This morbid cult, led by Charles Manson, was infamous in California in the 1960s to early 1970s. Driven by their eccentric and psychopathic leader, they spread their evil in Hollywood, even sinking to the level of murderers just for the sake of it. Welcome back to our channel. You might think you know the story, but there's always more to uncover. We'll be peeling back the layers of this twisted tale, exploring the horrifying crimes that shocked the world and forever changed Hollywood's history. But before all that, did you know that a member of the Manson family has been recently released on probation? What did you feel upon hearing this news? Let us know in the comments below. In a recent development that has sparked widespread outrage among the public and the family of the victim, Leslie Van Houten, a former devotee of the infamous cult leader Charles Manson, has been granted parole. After enduring over 5 decades behind bars for her involvement in 2 brutal murders, Van Houten's release has reignited emotions surrounding the horrifying crimes committed by the Manson family. For years, the public has closely followed the legal proceedings surrounding the Manson family, a group known for its shocking acts of violence and terror in the late 1960s. The heinous murders, including the brutal killing of innocent victims like Sharon Tate and others, continue to haunt the collective consciousness of society. The news of Van Houten's release on parole has been met with widespread condemnation and disbelief, with many expressing anger and frustration over the perceived inadequacy of her punishment for her role in the atrocities. The family members of the victims are undoubtedly reeling from the reopening of old wounds, as the release serves as a stark reminder of the lives lost and the pain endured because of the Manson family's actions. The decision to grant parole to a member of such a notorious and destructive cult has reignited discussions about the justice system's handling of cases involving high-profile criminals. Critics argue that Van Houten's release is a testament to the flaws in the system, as it seemingly fails to provide adequate closure and justice for the victims and their loved ones. As Van Houten steps back into the world after more than 5 decades of imprisonment, the public remains deeply divided over whether rehabilitation can truly outweigh the gravity of the crimes committed. The release of a former Manson family follower stirs up questions about the possibility of redemption and the potential dangers of allowing those involved in such extreme acts to re-enter society. This development highlights the ongoing impact of the Manson family's legacy, as the wounds of the past are ripped open once more. As the story continues to unfold, it will undoubtedly continue to evoke powerful emotions and prompt soul-searching about the nature of justice and the weight of responsibility in handling cases that have left an indelible mark on history. Amid the public outcry surrounding Leslie Van Houten's parole release, a troubling revelation has come to light. The California Board of Parole Hearings has, astonishingly, recommended Van Houten for early release not once, but 5 times since 2016. This revelation has further fueled outrage among the public, especially among the family members of the victims, who vehemently question the validity of the parole board's decisions. The victims' family members, who have already endured unimaginable pain and loss, are now facing the unsettling prospect of Van Houten's potential return to society. For them, the repeated recommendations for parole raise questions about whether the parole board fully comprehends the gravity of the crimes and the enduring impact they have had on the lives of those left behind. With the decision to grant Leslie Van Houten parole, it has been disclosed that she will be subject to a 3-year maximum parole term. This means that for the next 3 years, she will be closely monitored and required to adhere to specific conditions set forth by the parole board. Moreover, a parole discharge review is scheduled to take place after the first year of her release, potentially leading to further deliberations about her continued status outside of prison. At 73 years old, Van Houten's release into society has added another layer of complexity to an already contentious situation. Critics argue that her advanced age should not overshadow the gravity of her actions, and concerns persist about whether she can truly be rehabilitated after decades of involvement with the Manson family and its appalling crimes. But what was Van Houten's crime that made the public vilify her this way? We'll be answering that question in a while. But before that, click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you can be updated on more videos like this. Going back, Leslie Van Houten's name has been etched into history as a member of the notorious Manson family, a cult led by the enigmatic Charles Manson that perpetrated a horrifying series of 9 murders in 1969. Her involvement in the dark legacy of the Manson family extends to the brutal killings of LENO and ROSEMARY LABIANCA, a chilling crime that unfolded on August 10, 1969, just one day after the shocking murder of actress Sharon Tate and 4 others. During this turbulent period, the Manson family's reign of terror gripped the nation, leaving a trail of devastation and fear in its wake. Van Houten, like other members of the cult, was deeply under the spell of Manson's charismatic, yet malevolent influence. Under his manipulation, she became a participant in the savage acts of violence that rocked society and the very foundation of Hollywood's glamorous image. On that fateful August night, the LaBianca couple's lives were violently taken, and their home transformed into a nightmarish crime scene. The brutal nature of the murders sent shivers down the spine of the public, as the randomness and sheer savagery displayed by the Manson family seemed to have no boundaries. Leslie Van Houten, along with other members of the Manson family, invaded the LaBianca residence, where they proceeded to subdue the couple by tying them up. During this nightmarish ordeal, Van Houten actively participated in the harrowing murders, becoming deeply involved in the brutality that unfolded. As ROSEMARY LABIANCA struggled helplessly, Van Houten took an active role, holding her down while her fellow cult members mercilessly stabbed her to death. The atmosphere in the LaBianca home must have been one of sheer terror, as the Manson family unleashed their relentless savagery upon the unsuspecting couple. The chilling violence did not stop there. After witnessing the brutal death of ROSEMARY, Van Houten herself took a knife in her hand and inflicted fatal wounds upon LENO LaBianca, delivering the final blows that ended his life. In the aftermath of these horrific crimes, the nation grappled with the unsettling realization that such a heinous cult could exist in its midst. The shock and sorrow caused by the senseless loss of innocent lives left an indelible scar on the collective consciousness of the nation. Leslie Van Houten's subsequent arrest and trial only added to the intensity of public interest in the case. The revelations of her involvement in the LaBianca murders and the eerie coincidence of the timing following the Tate murders deepened the sinister narrative surrounding the Manson family's actions. Following her involvement in the LaBianca murders, Leslie Van Houten faced a lengthy legal battle that ultimately led to her conviction and a death sentence. Like her fellow female co-defendants, Manson's hold over Van Houten and her actions came into question during the trial. Manson attempted to distance himself from the murders, arguing that he had merely asked his followers to commit the killings without directly ordering them. During the subsequent legal proceedings, Van Houten's defense team sought to explain her participation in the gruesome murders. They argued that her ability to think rationally had been severely impaired by her use of LSD and the pervasive influence exerted by Charles Manson. This defense sought to portray Van Houten as a vulnerable and impressionable individual whose judgment and mental state had been distorted by the toxic combination of drug use and Manson's manipulation. In their efforts to distance Van Houten from the crimes committed at Sharon Tate's residence, the defense emphasized her absence during those events and asserted that she had not taken part in the planning of the LaBianca murders either. They sought to portray her as a peripheral figure who was not directly involved in the initial horrific killings. However, Van Houten's decision to testify proved to be a turning point in her defense. On the witness stand, she admitted to her active participation in the LaBianca murders, confessing to holding down ROSEMARY while others brutally stabbed her, and subsequently taking a knife to end LENO LaBianca's life. This candid admission significantly weakened her defense's attempt to distance her from the heinous acts. The absence of a clear motive behind the Manson family's brutal acts only added to the mystique surrounding the case. Charles Manson himself never provided a coherent explanation for the gruesome murders, leaving society to grapple with the enigma of his sinister intentions. However, prosecutor Vincent Bugliosi presented a chilling theory during the trial, suggesting that Manson's ultimate goal was to incite a racial civil war. This infamous theory, known as helter-skelter, speculated that Manson believed the killings would spark a violent conflict between different racial groups, leading to societal collapse. As we delve into this dark chapter of American history, we must remember the innocent lives lost and the families forever impacted by grief. Let us honor their memory by seeking empathy, tolerance, and unity, ensuring that such horrifying crimes remain a chilling reminder of the past and not a haunting specter of the future. Only through collective vigilance can we strive for a world that rejects violence and manipulation and embraces compassion and understanding. What can we learn from Leslie Van Houten's case about the dangers of cult membership? If you enjoyed watching this video, hit the like button, click subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Thanks for watching.